10 out of 10 would serve to friends.
Alright, so UK's, most beloved chef, Jamie Oliver, put this video for what he thinks is the ultimate mac and cheese on his YouTube channel. Some people loved it, other people were very confused. It has a lot of really strange ingredients in it. I thought it looked amazing. He said it's his absolute favorite. There was a couple ingredients in there that he thought was really weird, but someone like pressured him to use. And I kind of wanted to test it and see how delicious it truly is and if I can make it vegan. So today we are going to take the Jamie Oliver Ultimate Mac and Cheese and veganize it in today's episode of Flip It. I'm really excited about this one. I haven't had mac and cheese in a while, mainly just because I just haven't made it. When I go out to eat, I don't love a lot of vegan mac and cheese. A lot of it is just trying way too hard to be something that it's not, and I don't love it, except I love mine. Mine is so good, but I haven't made it in a while, so I'm super excited to really indulge in like cheesy, carby goodness. So to go through some of these ingredients, a lot of them are pretty standard. We have our macaroni, we have some breadcrumbs, we have cheese. The thing with Jamie's cheese selection is he selects 3 different types of cheese. One's a Parm, one is a Gruyere, and one is I think it was a cheddar. So I've picked vegan versions of those. They're all very different. Some melt better than others. I have one that's just like super creamy for that like real cream factor. He also uses a liter of milk. I've decided to go with soy milk. Obviously you can use any plant-based milk that you love, but I like to select soy milk because of the way that it cooks. So it thickens up a lot nicer because it has a super high protein level. So it's a lot more stable when you cook with it. But the 3 other really strange ingredients are a mango chutney, a mustard, and a Worcestershire. So I've selected a vegan Worcestershire. He uses English mustard, which I couldn't find, so I'm using German mustard. And then he uses mango chutney, which I'm really excited about. This is 2 cooking onions. He uses 3 cooking onions, but they're a bit smaller in the video. I could only find larger cooking onions, so I'm using 2. He really cooks them down and caramelizes them. So that's what we're going to do with those. And then there's a really fun topper that he throws on, which is like a seasoned breadcrumb and bacon situation. Now there's tons of really great vegan bacons out there that I love to use, but the whole thing with this breadcrumb topper is that it's herbs, breadcrumbs, and the bacon, and it's all cooked in the bacon fat. And I haven't been able to find a bacon that has that type of bacon fat thing, but Beyond Meat creates products where the fat, when you cook the meat, actually has a really salty, delicious, meaty flavor, and it can season the breadcrumb. So I'm, instead of bacon, going to use sausage, the Beyond Meat sausage, to create that same topper. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is caramelize onions. I'm putting a knob of butter into a pan and taking my 2 onions and just cooking them at a high heat, caramelizing them, adding a little bit of water, caramelizing them, adding water, really scraping off all that nice caramelization until they have really shrunk and shriveled up into the beautiful browned caramelized onions that they will eventually become. While the onions are caramelizing, I'm going to cook the macaroni. I'm only going to cook it for 5 minutes because we are throwing this into the oven after, so I'm just parboiling them. I have a liter of soy milk. I get made fun of for how bad I am at accents all the time. Well, we're going to slowly add in a liter of soy milk. All right, so I'm just switching pots. It's because I don't have one of the super deep pans that he has. I'm just gonna throw it all into this pot here. So I'm just going to keep slowly adding the milk. I mean, if you've watched the bechamel recipe or you've ever worked with a roux, add it slowly, keep adding a little bit more. With the soy milk, depending on how much protein the soy milk has that you are working with, you might have to add a cornstarch slurry to this, you might not. We're gonna find out here shortly. All right, for the 3 cheeses, he uses a cheddar, a Gruyere, and a Parmesan. So I have this Emborg cheddar, which is one of my favorite cheddars in terms of flavor that's vegan. For the Parmesan, I'm using the Follow Your Heart Parmesan because it melts really nicely into a sauce. It has a really nice flavor without being too salty. For the creaminess, to add like an extra level of cream, because there isn't really a vegan cheese that acts like a Gruyere, I'm just going to use this Veg Nature Original. It's super creamy. I used this in the Stelvio video where we made the pizza curry, and it was so good with this cheese. So I think it's going to be very nice. The next two ingredients I'm adding are the more bizarre ones. So mustard isn't that bizarre to me because I do use a lot of mustard when I'm making like vegan substitutes for cheeses because it has a really nice flavor also with eggs as well. But the mango chutney, I'm going to add that in now. He says that it makes a huge difference. One of his friends convinced him that this was a good idea, and I'm so excited to try it. All right, so I'm adding in my macaroni. Great, mixing that around. And he also seasons it with Worcestershire. Now this is Wizards. It's a vegan version of Worcestershire. I'm sure if you don't have access to this, if you have some sort of like soy sauce, something like that, you can definitely substitute that. I have this gorgeous gooey pasta. I'm going to give it a quick taste and see if it needs any more salt, and then we are going to throw it into the oven. While the mac and cheese is in the oven, Jamie creates this like topper. So he uses bacon, breadcrumbs, garlic, and herb. Like I said before, instead of bacon, I'm going to use Beyond Meat sausages because when they cook, they do emit this like really beautiful, flavorful oil, which I think will go really nicely with the breadcrumbs. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is crumble up the sausage into the pan and let that cook down and render out some of that fat. Then I'm going to toss in a couple cloves of chopped garlic, as well as a handful of parsley, and then some breadcrumbs, and cook that all together. All right, guys, we have our mac and cheese. She's beautiful, truly. The onions do give it kind of like a brown hue, which is interesting, but she looks really good and she smells really good. So I'm going to dig in. And then in the video, Jamie actually wraps lettuce around it and says that he kind of eats it with like gem lettuce, like a little lettuce wrap. So I'm going to try that as well. It's really creamy. I thought the flavors would be a lot more bold because of the onion, but it's not overwhelming at all. It's like slightly sweet. My only complaint would be that I would add some salt next time, or get a vegan cheese that has a bit higher of a salt content and like a bolder flavor, because I think these cheeses were fairly neutral. I love the addition of the chutney. I like that there's like a crispy breading to go along with the silky creaminess of the pasta. Also, the Beyond Meat sausage was definitely the right choice for this little topper. What I'm thinking is you can make this like super fall inspired by adding like chopped sage or thyme to the breadcrumbs that you add on top. Oh my gosh, that would be so good. Or even add the breadcrumbs right when you put it in the oven. You could do that as well instead of adding it after. But I do like the crunch that you get from that. All right, I'm going to try this lettuce wrap situation that he talks about. I think this would be the perfect vehicle for veggies, actually. He kind of talks about like adding asparagus to it or adding peas or some spinach. I'd have to agree. I think that this is so nice and neutral, but really decadent and tasty, and adding like peas or spinach or asparagus would make this, I think it would actually take it over the top. That is good with lettuce, actually.
It's so good.
Okay, this slaps.
It's so good.
It's the best vegan mac and cheese I've ever had, but like probably one of like top 3 I've ever had of all time. It's worth like all the steps.
And you know what? It's really easy. It's just a few more steps than a normal mac and cheese, but they're not hard.
I would make this for Thanksgiving for sure.
The topping, next level. That's what, like I think it changes the dish. I'm gonna
Yeah.
eat this.
10 out of 10 would serve to friends.
Let me know if you have a recipe that you want me to try and flip to its vegan counterpart. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And I'll see you next time. Bye.